Howdy, and welcome to the veritable edge of Western civilization. Yet again, Venice Beach, California. Yep. So, I am your host, D.A.English, and wow, that's cool. Just arrived back in Venice a couple days ago from my journey up north. Spent 5 days up on the mountain where I discovered those archaeological sites, and 3 of those days I spent actually sitting in the Jade Node. That was pretty profound. And now some updates. Back here to finish the book. We'll tell all there is to tell about the Jade Node and the archaeological sites I discovered in Big Sur back in 1994. In my new book, The Natural History of Life and Death. And I've been working on this book for about 10 years. And good news and bad news. The good news is I got a new computer. And bad news is the old computer died that had the manuscripts on it. And we had to, my good friend John Riley was able to salvage the hard drive and make it into an external hard drive that I could plug into this new computer. It's not a new computer, it's a refurbished, somebody's old computer, somebody else's old computer, but it's good enough for me to do the work that I need to do. And I had to spend about $1,200 on this to get it, of the money that came through the GoFundMe campaign to get this computer. In case you hadn't heard, I let go of the bus a couple of weeks ago, and so no more black mold. Yippee! Just before I left for up north, got to spend the holidays with my sister Chris and her daughter Crystal. We had a wonderful time. We spent Christmas together, and I left a couple of days before New Year's and went up to Chico. We spent some time with my friend Amanda's on, and we went up to Sierraville Hot Springs, where we did an overnight, which was magnificent. Amanda's on lives in an almond orchard, so I got some really good, cool photographs from that. And then I trained and bussed back here, and for the time being I'm holed up at my friend Rita Overmeyer's house. She made a room up for me to so I can write finish this book. And so I got the computer the night before last, and yesterday I got the hard drive, and I got it transferred over to the laptop. But today I've been writing on it, and it feels so good to be at this right now. It feels very timely. It feels like that's what everything's all about for me. And So as far as health-wise, I had one of the main reasons I came back is I had a doctor's appointment a week ago today, and with my primary care person at his family clinic, Nancy Pierre-Paul, and that went really well. She was kind of impressed with my state of health and how things are going. She said that the tumor in the back of my mouth, it actually kind of looks a little smaller, but it's primarily because she said it was protruding out, towards the front of my mouth before, and it's now kind of compacted, flatter. But for the most part, I feel in really good health. Kind of let this beard go for a look. I look very beardy. Needs to be a little more clean cut, but it's winter. It's actually it's kind of chilly here today, but it's supposed to rain a couple of days. So we're probably going to be doing there'll be probably a PET scan next month sometime. I think it's around the middle of next month, and I have an appointment with the oncologist to see what kind of progress I've made. So that PET scan is to kind of gauge the progress of my own efforts, and also to prepare if those efforts aren't proving as fruitful as we need them to be. They're in preparation for them to be able to start up the chemo radiation protocols. So that would mean I would probably, an appointment with the oncologist is at the end of February, so I would start, if that proves necessary, then I would start it's 10 weeks, so it's March, April. I'd probably be finished in the middle of May. So when I was up visiting Amandazon, I had a really hard night. One night there, I did a lot of bleeding, a lot of coughing up blood, and one of two things happened. Either the cancer spread to a blood vessel, burst through blood vessel, or something fell off. And I have a feeling it was the something fell off thing, because I felt a little freer the next day. The back of my throat felt freer. I think that there was a little tumor protrusion behind the one that if I open my mouth and you could see it. And I think that basically that little piece fell off, and it took about an hour and a half of coughing and spitting up blood to get rid of, for the blood to coagulate and form a scab. So that was kind of rough. So there was a moment there though that was really poignant. I didn't make a story about it or anything, but there was this moment where I felt these tears coming, and I felt all this compassion for everyone that's ever had to feel this, ever had to go through it, and it was just like this, it's not like I was crying for myself or because I was afraid of something or whatever. The tears just came, or almost came, and I just felt a tremendous release, and yeah, it's good. And then since about that time, this past until pretty much today, actually, it's been a time where I've been experiencing. There's been a lot of pain, and so what's happened is, like, it's all on my right side. The tumors on my right side, which is really weird. You know, you'd think it'd just be all over the place, but everything is on the right side. And I think what's happened is that the cancer is kind of like on that corner of the tongue, the back of the mouth, where the tongue connects to the side of my mouth, and there's a whole stellium, like complex of nerves that goes, into the ear and up into the head and everything like that. And it was just hitting that spot, and so definitely some pain management techniques I had to develop for myself, like not paying any friggin' attention to it. Hello. And just, bearing through it, but I'm still continuing with the fenbendazole protocol and this mega hydrate protocol, and I've just started this it's a GCMAF protocol. I started that yesterday, and that's supposed to jumpstart the immune system to attack the cancer cells and the viruses. So we'll see what happens with that. So we basically made a yogurt with all sorts of goodies in it, and that combined with I'm still doing the 10,000 milligrams of vitamin C with full B complex every day. And so one of the things that you take to activate the GC MAF is D3 and K2. So I think that'll actually, the vitamin C and the vitamin K will kind of, that in itself is its own anti-cancer protocol. So we'll see. I'm also started gargling with my friend John Riley made me some what is it? It's colloidal silver, and some really potent colloidal silver to gargle with, and I just gargled with it just before I came out, and that feels really good, because what's happened is this growth in the back of my throat. It's like it's made it really hard for me to sleep on my back or sleep on my right side and not have to have my mouth open. And so I'll wake up and my mouth is all dry. It's dry as stone, and it's my throat hurts and everything like that. But I gargled it with that twice yesterday, and then this morning I felt okay, and I gargled it with it as soon as I woke up. And so, and I'm also doing another gargle. I'm doing is the frankincense and thieves oil, and that's what I was doing when I was up north, and that really helps when it starts hurting, because I think there's like clove oil in there, and so it kind of numbs it a little bit. So I'm just kind of I'm not telling you all this stuff just to tell you all this stuff. I'm also kind of documenting the progress, and hopefully we'll all look back on this and laugh. I'm just starting early. So, and the seagull's laughing with me. There you go. So, what else is happening? Yeah, looks like we've plateaued on the GoFundMe thing. Like, there's only been, in the past month, there's only been like a couple of donations, but I'm not sweating it. I'm just trusting in the unfolding and everything. Still don't have any transportation and haven't found my own place to live. That's the way it goes. But I feel healthy. Check this out. I weigh 177 pounds. I just checked this morning. 177 pounds. And so I looked in the mirror, man, and this is like around the weight that I played football in college, I feel really lean, and it feels great to not. I've lost 20 pounds since I started this diet of zeroing out the all white foods, not like no carbohydrates. I mean, no carbohydrates, no white food, nothing that turns to sugar except fruit, and lately I haven't really been feeling that hungry. I usually eat just once a day anyway, and sometimes twice. But almond butter, man. I've been eating so much almond butter just because it feels good. I mix it with like cacao. I have this cacao powder that has reishi mushroom in it. Mix that up with the almond butter and a banana. Oh my goodness! Yum, 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 yum. That's some righteous stuff right there. As I've said, I see this, what I'm doing is a shamanic journey, and it certainly has been. I've been exploring as deeply as I can my consciousness, and using shamanic tools like mushrooms and some marijuana and the concentrates like the Rick Simpson oil and all that kind of stuff since I started. In fact, that was one of the first things I did. I thought I was going to do the Rick Simpson protocol, but I don't know that I can do that and all the time. It's just not. I can't be that stoned all the time. But what happens for me when I smoke pot or take edibles or whatever, marijuana, I brainstorm and I go into deep trance. And someone gifted me some mushrooms, and I went on this mushroom trip. I came here, right? The day after I got back, I came here and I did the mushrooms, and to the berm here. I'm like, literally, I think I'm actually right in the same spot that I did the mushrooms. And then it got windy and cold, and I went back to the house and I curled up and I was listening to, because I made this album, the 12 Journeys Underneath, specifically as an album that you could trip to without having to do drugs, So I put on the album, I'm listening with my headphones, and the phone rings. And I wouldn't normally come out of my little cocoon to go anywhere or talk to anybody, but I saw who it was, and it was this wonderful friend of mine that I haven't heard from in a really long time, who is she's a shamaness. And she's like, "Where are you? I'm over here where you set up." And I was like, "Oh man." So I got on the bike and I rode over there and we watched the sunset together, and then she spirited me away to Tricus Market in Malibu, which is right across from Zuma Beach. We had dinner and I had a little bit of swordfish and I wasn't that hungry, but she went on her way. That's the furthest point that the bus goes. She left me where I could get on the bus, come back, right? But I wasn't really interested in necessarily coming right back. So because for months now, I've been thinking about going to that very spot, going to the end of the bus line, and just, walking on the beach. So I did. I walked on Zuma Beach. I walked all the way back to Point Doom. Okay, so let's see. So you see the land, where the land comes down to the water. That furthest point, that's Point Doom. It's named for one of the friend of what's his name, Captain Vancouver, the British explorer that came down to research the holdings of the, there was supposed to be some sort of transaction between the Spanish and the British, and he named this after his friend, Dumitz, something Dumitz. But anyway, it's called Point Doom, and I have my friend Megan Warner got married on that point. That's how the only time I'd ever actually been there before. So this amazing thing happens. I'm tripping on the mushrooms, and a good friend who used to be a pot grower made this ghee and gave it to me as a Christmas present, and I mixed it with my chocolate, and I was in a really good headspace, brainstorming like crazy on my little shamanic journey, trying to go as deep as I can to play with the base code of my being, right? And readjust and reprogram this thing, because this ain't right. And it served its purpose, but I'm ready for it to stop now. And so I walked to the end of Zuma Beach, to the base of Point Doom, and I walk around the cliff's edge and discover that there's a cove in there, right? And I follow it down to the beach in the cove, and I go the other side of the cove and go around the corner. I see that I can't go I'm not going to be able to go any further. It's all just really gnarly. And I back up, and I remember this is at night. This is like, midnight, right? And it was the night before the full moon, so the moon is in and out of the clouds and everything. It was wonderful. And because the moon made a moon dog, so when there's a ring around the sun, that's a sun dog, and there was a ring around the moon, so there was a moon dog. And I'd taken a photograph that afternoon from here of the sun, where it was a sun dog, and then I took a photograph of the moondog that was happening. So I have all the same day. It's pretty cool. So anyway, I'm making my way back in that cove on the beach, and I happen to find there's a cave. I found a cave halfway up the cliff. There's a cave, and so I climb up into the cave, and I sat there for, I don't know, a long time, brainstorming my socks off. And then I climbed the cliff and made my way to the PCH, Pacific Coast Highway, and caught the bus at like 6 o'clock in the morning back to Venice and slept the rest of the day. It was like, it was a wonderful, wonderful spirit journey. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing. What else? The things I've been learning on this so far have to do with you know, what my thinking is, where my thinking's at right now. Is, you know, today, I think, today the 13th? It's either the 13th or the 14th. So, the sun, where the sun is right now, there's Pluto and Saturn and my ascendant. They've all just crossed my ascendant. And last night I had a wonderful experience. I reconnected with my friend Crystal Rain, and she lives in an apartment over here, and they have a hot tub. She invited me over to a hot tub, and you know, it was so wonderful. It was just what I needed. And it's like I'm a hot spring, hot tub lover, addicted person, and I'm okay with that. What I was saying is where my thoughts are right now is kind of basically on the nature of our you know, life, the universe, and everything, on the nature of our existence. I feel tremendously blessed to be where I am. I feel tremendously blessed to be going through what I'm going through. And you know, for these fundamental changes in my life to be finally taking place. And I really look forward to sharing more in the future, and I hope to be around to do that. I can't take that for granted, but you know, when I was in a lot of pain this week, I was just thinking about, again, how lucky I am that it's not worse, you know? And I you know, I know, okay, so one time, you know, my grandmother was in the hospital, and my grandfather, both of them were in the same hospital on different floors, and my grandfather was actually he was on his way out. And I went to see them, and it's this huge hospital. I think it's University Hospital in Boston, right? You walk in the door, and you get directions, and they have painted these lines on the ground, these arrows on the ground, depending where it is you have to go in the hospital, and you just follow the color, right? So they said, follow this yellow line, right? So I just follow the yellow line, and it takes you down this huge corridor where there's absolutely nothing, you know, there's nobody and nothing. And I come to the end of the corridor, and I have to take a left because there's nothing else you can do. There's a what do you call it, an elevator, and another huge long corridor going off to my left. And there's a gurney, and on this gurney is this old woman that is just like, just bones and skin, really. And she was just frozen in place. Her eyes are wide open, and she's just frozen in this, like if somebody was screaming in pain and you couldn't hear what they were saying. Like there was no voice coming out. There was no voice coming out. She didn't blink. I stood there. There's nobody else around. And there's this woman, and her gurney is sitting next to the elevator. And I'm like, you know, it's one of the most surreal moments of my life, because I have to go, but somebody put this woman here, and she is, you know, this is somebody's grandmother, this is somebody's wife, this is somebody's daughter, this is, you know, and this is where her life has led her, to be lying on this gurney in all this pain. And, you know, so I guess that's kind of my gauge of, you know, how lucky I am that I'm not there yet. I know it's freaking weird, but hello. And I think we all are. We just take so much for granted, you know, and that's okay. It's all right. To be able to take it for granted is such a blessing, isn't it? Yeah. So anyway, but when I was in pain this week, I was just like, I had a couple of moments there where I was like, you know, people are telling me that I look good, and I look healthy and all this sort of stuff, but I know we could all go pretty quick, you know. And the key is, you know, am I doing my work? You know, am I getting the work done? And now that I have the freaking computer, I feel a whole lot better that I'm getting closer to completing my projects. And so that's what my head will be in for the next little bit here, is publishing this book, and the book that I was working on when I was up on the mountain, The Metaphysician. And yeah, it's a great way to start the year. Publish 2 books, why not, right? Because you can, because I can. But anyway, enough said for now. Another main reasons why I came back here was to work with John and his son Xander. Xander is in the hospital with Crohn's disease, and he's got an abscess infection, so they can't treat the Crohn's disease itself yet. They need to, because the drugs that they use to treat the Crohn's disease suppress the immune system, and he needs to get rid of the infection first. So they're treating that, and he's been in there for 3 weeks, and he's going to be in there for another couple of weeks. But so one of the main reasons I came back was to set up this live streaming channel, and Xander and John are going to help me do that. And yeah, that's happening. And so in order for I'm going to be using YouTube and it would be really helpful if I need another 500 or 400 people to like and follow that my YouTube channel in order for me to once again be able to live stream on YouTube without any hassles. So if you could like this channel or my D.A.English English channel and share that around, then we can get going with the live streaming channel. So thank you for that. And I'm looking at myself here with the wind blowing and the hair flying and the big beard and everything. It just looks very, I look like, I don't know, mountain man or something, nature boy. So I think that about covers everything for now. We'll give it another shot in a couple of days, I guess. Thanks for your donations to the GoFundMe page, David's Wonder Fund. And here's my favorite part. Look. I don't know if you can see this. And the sun is just about to tip below the horizon. Perfect timing. So here's my favorite part. This is me beaming love at you. So there, take that. Remember, we love you.